Hey guys, welcome to the Fergie Time podcast. I'm your host, Aiden Ferguson, and today we have special guests on. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
I'm samm.reedd.
Noah.hattevik.
And today we're going to be talking the Super Bowl, the 53rd edition, with the Patriots playing against the Rams at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. So do you guys want to, let's just start with our predictions for the game. You want to start? What's the score? You got a score line? You got a team that you see winning the game?
I mean, this one's really close for me. I could see it really going either way, honestly. You kind of have to favor the Patriots just because of the record that they have in Super Bowls. Tom Brady throwing the ball. He's the GOAT in these situations. So,
but if you look at the Rams roster, they're way more stacked in terms of they're way more talented.
They are.
They're they're the sexy pick to win.
I mean, they are, but at the same time, there's so many big names on defense, but they've given up so many points in a lot of games.
Points per game they give in the regular season, too.
It's just, it's really high.
Well, my thing is I don't know if I really trust Goff to make the right decisions in terms of, seeing how the Patriots set up defensively.
But is the thing, are they going to rely on Jared Goff or are they going to rely on C.J. Anderson,
Well,
too?
that's something interesting that let's just jump into that right now then, is what are the keys for the game for the Rams, I would say, would be to take the run away from New England, right? Mm-hmm. And for New England to take the run away from the Rams. Make Jared Goff make plays. Make him, have to throw the ball. Little things like changing play calls if he sees the defensive, how they're set up. I think that's important because Goff hasn't been there that long. He's pretty young. And he's been shown under pressure sometimes to, throw a lot of interceptions, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I think it's also important that Brandon Cook stretches the field too, because if they're able to get the throwing game going, C.J. Anderson is going to be able to hit those holes too.
Yeah, that's true. That's also where I think what's his name? I got it. Stephon Gilmore will come in because if he can either take out Brandon Cooks or Robert Woods, then that's a big deal for them because if he can shut down one of the options, it makes the Rams a little more predictable in terms of who they're going to target with the ball, and then that they're going to attack, obviously, with Gurley.
But the Patriots secondary is also hurting, too, because they have Stephon Gilmore. But who else do they have in that secondary?
They got the McCourty twins.
They
got some good players.
Too.
I mean, I see the Rams heavily relying on Todd Gurley this game. I think it's going to be a Todd Gurley out the backfield, throwing out the backfield.
Todd Gurley's injured.
No, he's back. He's
injured.
He's 100% fine.
That's what they're gonna say, but
Todd
Gurley's not gonna be what he was week 1 of the regular season.
I'd still take injured Todd Gurley over James White.
Would you?
Yeah.
In this type of game?
I would, because Todd Gurley is a big game player.
Todd Gurley has never been to a Super Bowl. James White scored the winning touchdown in a Super Bowl before.
But I just feel like Gurley.
James White is not the only running back. So I'm just saying.
Whoa! But Gurley is
also Sonny Michel.
There's levels to the running backs in the NFL, and you could argue Todd Gurley's top 3 wherever you want to put him there. Yeah. James White is nowhere near that level.
Okay, right? But he's a big game back.
I think James White also has the potential to be a top 3 receiving back in the NFL.
That is true.
And the thing is
that is something that's going to be tricky for the Rams to defend is when they put him out as a receiver.
I also think C.J. Anderson and Todd Gurley are similar backs in the sense that they both pound the football.
I mean,
right?
C.J. Anderson is...
But there's a power and finesse.
Todd Gurley is a 3-down back. He's a dual threat back. Okay. I mean, you don't throw out the backfield to C.J. Anderson at the same time.
And if Gurley's able to run the ball well, then that takes a lot of pressure off of Goff to make as many plays. Because if Goff has the ball in his hands all game, I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to shut down Gurley. I wouldn't be surprised if Goff throws 2 interceptions tomorrow.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that or no?
I think Goff has to be nothing short of perfect, to be honest, because you have the GOAT on the other side of the field, right? So every time he goes on, he's going to make something happen to the ball. So we need to make, I think Jared Goff, if he's going to do well in this game, he has to be almost short of perfect, and he can't throw any interceptions.
All right, so give me your scoreline predictions. Do you have or just a team even, if you don't have a scoreline?
I would put it at 31-26 Patriots.
What about you?
Yeah.
You switched before?
Damn, yeah, he was talking about the Rams before.
No, I said I fancy the Rams because I think they have playmakers that could upset the game, but at the end of the day, it's the GOAT.
Yeah.
So
I said Patriots 23-17.
That's what I had too. That was my scoreline. Because they're just dominant. You have Tom Brady, and always the offensive line for the Patriots always shows up for the big games. His protection last game against the
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yeah, there we go. I watched that game actually. Their pass protection against the Chiefs was amazing, and Brady had so much time in the pocket.
I mean,
also though, Brady does get rid of the ball super quickly.
He does.
He gets rid of it. I have it here, 2.61 seconds, which is like top 5 in the NFL, which is pretty insane.
But I'm not really gonna take a game against the Chiefs front as like a real like. I mean, the Chiefs had the 31st ranked defense in the NFL all season.
True.
You're looking at
but
Dante Fowler.
Their pass rush is decent though.
But you're looking now at Dante Fowler, Aaron Donald, Defensive Player of the Year, and Ndamukong Suh.
What did they do to the Chargers in the first game too? They destroyed the Chargers. They scored how many points? Was it the Patriots against the Chargers?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
The Chargers have a good defense. You're talking about the Chiefs having like a really bad defense.
They do have a really bad defense. I'm saying like last week's performance of the O-line against the Chiefs front is not going to tell me that they're going to do good against the Rams front.
But what I'm saying is that the Chargers game, when they scored 40-something points against one of the best defenses in the NFL, that shut down Patrick Mahomes.
Also, with Brady releasing the ball so quick, it's not like it's going to be easy for Donald to necessarily get to him.
I mean,
if he has if the ball's out of his hands by the time Donald gets there, I mean, he can't really do anything.
Yeah.
So it really depends on how the line does. If they do just well enough for Brady to get rid of it in the amount of time he has been, then they should be fine.
I think
But Suh is interesting because, right, if you have their center and their guards focused on Donald, then Suh has more of an ability to get in behind. So if they do decide to focus on Donald, which they will, Suh has to step up and really have a big game in order for the Rams to succeed.
And who's better at stopping one player on the other team than Bill Belichick, too?
That's true. That is definitely
Except the thing is, with the Rams, they have so many different players you have to stop at the
it's a lot.
At the end of the day, too. So
I think another key for the Rams is going to be neutralize Julian Edelman. I think he's like...
Yeah, well...
He's the big game monster.
Brady's favorite target.
Yeah.
Because every time you saw against the Chiefs, every third down, he was looking for him on a slant route.
Gronk is a non-factor now.
I mean, I still... Whoa.
You still have to...
No, you have to respect Gronk still.
Also, I'm talking also from a fantasy standpoint. So it was absolutely shit for fantasy for me.
But he's a big game. He's like
saying he was.
He's a big game player. Like he's Gronk is gonna be someone they're gonna be looking to target in the red zone or for one. If they can get one big play out of Gronk, I'm pretty sure the Patriots would be happy with that. They'd take that if he can have one nice reception.
I mean, you're gonna think that defensive coordinator Phillips, I think, for the Rams is gonna have at least one man and like a safety. Kind of like cheating towards Gronk's side, like on a majority of the games, because Brady will take man-to-man coverage.
They don't have that many people to take away, take any attention away from Gronk too. So
except for Edelman.
Edelman and Gronk, but who else are they going to be throwing the ball to?
Hogan
out the backfield.
Chris Hogan,
James White out the back.
Non-existent all year.
Yeah,
so,
White out the back as well.
Uh-huh.
But besides that, there's no really... They don't really have a great deep threat, to be honest with you. Right? They're going to be looking to either find Gronk or Edelman with the slant runs. So, and then obviously they're just going to be pounding the ball for the rest of the game. Is like the key to the Patriots this season has been running the football. Right? Brady was good in the regular season, but he wasn't outstanding. And what they would do is they would just run the ball. And then that would make it obviously a little easier for Brady to operate.
I think the one team to upset the Patriots in the Super Bowl would be the Rams. But I'm not sure they're going to be able to do it at the end of the day.
No, I think the Rams would be the one team just because you look at the names. Like, the quality that is, like, present on the Rams is so, like, clear. I mean, I'm thinking if they can shut down Edelman, you're thinking Chris Hogan, do we agree that he's the second receiver over Dorsett on the Patriots?
I would agree.
I mean, he's going up against Marcus Peters or Aqib Talib. Like, they're both going to win that matchup all day. So, if they can shut down Edelman, it's like...
We say that about every single, like, cornerback on the Rams, too, but that, like, in the regular season...
Their pass defense was good.
How many points per game did they give up, though?
I mean,
because
a lot.
They played against, like, the
51 against the
Niners.
Chiefs.
And, yeah, I mean, they'd be giving up, like, 40, 30 points against the Niners.
Yeah,
so
but
what
also...
are you going to do against Tom Brady, against James White, against Sonny Michel? Like,
Sonny Michel, I think we haven't talked enough about Sonny Michel. I think he could take over the game, too, as a threat.
How so?
The Rams' run defense has been their weak spot on defense.
Yeah.
And Sonny Michel is a guy who's topped 100 yards in a lot of games this season. I mean, he's their new back. Like, he's insane. Mm-hmm. If he gets going, I think it's donezo. because Tom Brady.
1-2 punch with James White and Sonny Mitchell.
They have that. I mean,
how do you see the Patriots using Burkhead? Because he showed a lot in the last game towards the end.
Goal line
back, right?
That's
they also have the fullback too.
Devlin as well. Yeah, Devlin.
I mean, they're so efficient when they get in the red zone too. You just have to play like in the mid. It's how well they play defense in the middle of the field. So I mean, because we know Tom Brady, like once he gets in the moment and he has that chance to win a game, he's gonna take it.
Yeah, I mean, Brady has just been so good before. You have to kind of just believe that he's gonna bring that same intensity and same just vibe he brings.
Something else though is that, I mean, if you look at the last. The Eagles beat the Patriots, and when we looked at, like, when I was watching that game, what I was noticing a lot is that the Eagles were using a lot of, like, special plays. I mean, you could tell that they were preparing, like, some special stuff. I mean, the Philly special, like, during that week. I feel like Sean McVay is the type of coach to kind of, like,
do that,
take risks and, like, try things, especially, I mean, you're going against the Patriots.
He has nothing to lose.
Exactly.
Losing to the Patriots does not really affect McVay's legacy that much in terms of, like, he still will have tons of respect for even getting this young team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And obviously they're still young, so he has a couple, 3-4 more years working with these groups to get them back to the Super Bowl. So I'm sure he'd be willing to take the risk. And obviously the organization is going to be backing him, so he'll have that freedom to do trick plays, do that sort of thing.
But do you think there's a possibility he's a little bit too aggressive in this game? Because obviously the Rams can't play conservative in this type of game against the Patriots, but do you think, like, early on he's gonna, like, if there's like a short yardage 4th down, he's gonna be the type of coach that's gonna go for it too early, or maybe?
I don't know. I think it really just depends on how the game. Every situation is different, but like in a Super Bowl, you only get, like, it's one game, so you have to be aggressive. And I think I would rather have him come out even in the second quarter, coming out very aggressive rather than backing off. But it obviously depends on where we are and what the situation is, right? If they're in, like, deep into their own half, that would be stupid. He obviously wouldn't do that, but it just depends on the situation. I think the key for the Rams is just going to be trying to get to Brady, right? We've seen if you can get to Brady, if you can start to touch him, he'll back off a little bit. Like, he doesn't get necessarily nervous with the ball at his hands, but he'll get rid of it a little quicker, and he won't get as many good looks with the ball. So I think if Donald can get to Brady or Sue can get to Brady, that's going to be so important, because although if you take away the run game and just let Brady operate, but if you can take away a little bit of Brady away and then start to shut down their run, I think the Rams definitely have a good shot at the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think they do. And then I think the other thing that we think about too is that the Rams have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in the top, like, 3. And I don't know, the Patriots pass rush, it's not really good. I think Jared Goff could have a lot of time actually to throw.
Yeah, well, Goff this past season was averaging, I think his average release time was almost 3 seconds. So he has tons of time to get rid of the ball. The strong side actually on the Rams O-line is their left side. And so look for Gurley and whoever else is out there to go through that side and look for pockets through there. If the left side isn't doing a great job blocking, then I could see Goff getting into some trouble, because the right side is not nearly as strong.
And if Goff gets time, I mean, Brandon Cooks gets loose.
Yeah, he's deep
fast.
threat. So, I mean, if you get one play can be a touchdown with him, because he can beat you and be in the end zone before you know it.
Yeah.
Which is something the Patriots don't have. So.
I think the Rams, in this case, if the Patriots go down early, I think the Rams will win the game, because I feel like the Patriots aren't a big play team. So they like, I mean, if you think of it, do they really have a receiver that can really stretch the field for them?
Dorsett.
I mean, how many touchdowns has he had all year? Like,
he scored against the Chiefs, I think.
I think another key thing for the Rams though is gonna be in the first half to come out firing. So Goff can't take time to adjust to whatever the Patriots throw at him, because that's what happened with Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
That he hardly had anything going in the first half and had to make it all up in the second. Whereas if Goff can even get a touchdown and, like, a field goal in the first half, that would be huge for them, because he needs to start getting stuff going early so they don't have to start just throwing the ball and trying to get back.
Yeah, one thing
so
we
they
haven't
can
talked about
continue to pound the ball.
Like is the kicking too, because we know how important kicking is.
Yeah.
Like throughout the season, how many missed PATs, how many missed field goals. Like with the Bears kicker earlier, Cody Parkey.
Yeah.
He missed the game-winning field. If you had to put one of those kickers out to win a game, you'd have to put LIII, right? After the last game against the Saints.
I mean, I would put LIII. He doesn't really miss.
Yeah,
it's simple. He doesn't really miss.
You would have to. I mean, you would be comfortable probably putting him out there with your season on the line after what happened.
He's already been on.
But he's already done it. So.
Yeah. Would you be comfortable with Gostkowski too? He's pretty trustworthy in these situations. So he has Super Bowl.
So
he has
we're
that
inside a
experience.
dome. So we can't talk about any weather conditions like wind, anything like that.
It's pure pressure.
Yeah, I think both kickers will be fine. Like, none of them have a background of either missing big kicks.
But even, do you remember I think it was the Colts against the Chiefs, Vinatieri, one of the most trustworthy kickers in the game, missed 2 field goals. One from 16 yards away and hit the post.
Yeah, it's...
I would say, unless the situation demands it, you don't kick just because there's always that risk. Right? If you're still super far out, whatever, and you need to at the end of the game or even during the middle of the game, you go for it. But otherwise, continue to go. If you're on the Pats 30, like you said, talking about McVay earlier, and you have the ball, I would probably just go, and it's 4th and inches, I would probably just go for it because...
If you're the Rams?
Yeah, if you're the Rams, because... Oh, not the Rams. I guess not the Rams because...
Because their line can hit it.
He already went crazy last game. But... Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say because both kickers have been pretty good before.
It's just who can take the pressure.
It is. And what about Goff? Pressure? Fastest quarterback ever to go from being the number 1 pick in the draft to a Super Bowl.
But he was also
but
last
year he was considered absolute shite. Like, people were done with him.
He was absolute shite.
Yeah, I mean, he was terrible, but...
This year...
He's been
it just goes to show
solid.
How important coaching is, too. Because McVay came in and he turned Goff around.
If Goff can keep up how he's been playing over the next couple of years and continue to improve, he could be an elite He will be an elite quarterback.
Where do you think he is right now?
I don't know.
Without winning a Super Bowl?
Without top 10.
Would you put Jared? I wouldn't put him as a top 10 QB.
I mean, who do you put above him?
All right, let's go through our QBs.
Tom Brady, Drew Brees.
Yeah, that's
Drew Luck.
Andrew Luck, Patrick Mahomes, Phillip Rivers. I feel like there's actually definitely 10 that are better.
Damn.
Cam Newton?
No.
If you were, let me ask this question. If you had a franchise and you were going to choose between 2 quarterbacks, would you pick Jimmy Garoppolo or would you pick Jared Goff?
How old? Garoppolo's pretty young still, so...
I'll take Jared Goff.
You would take Jared Goff?
Yeah, I'll take Jared Goff. Jimmy G was
what about people
like played this season.
What about Matthew Stafford?
I disagree. Matthew Stafford, no. He's not even in the conversation.
So, no, okay.
I'd put Big Ben above.
Big Ben above
Jared Goff? Still?
Right now?
Still?
But think about it. All right, going into next year, who would you rather have?
Who?
Goff or Big Ben?
I
would have Goff. He's going to be 37 next year.
Okay. But at the end of the day, like...
Big Ben is fat, man.
Okay, yeah. But Big Ben's also my man. Like,
but
he might not have Antonio Brown next year. He might not have Le'Veon.
No.
Those pieces.
I'm not taking this, bro. Big Ben, he causes issues within your locker room. There's more to football than just like being able to throw the ball. Like you can see the Steelers locker room is toxic, and that starts from him.
It does not. No, there's nothing wrong with Big Ben. If you're any quarterback in this, if you have a situation like this where Le'Veon Bell is holding out for a whole season,
I think it's Lev in this situation.
When Antonio Brown apparently has been toxic all season.
Yapping away.
It's nothing. There's nothing wrong that Ben has done this whole season. Like there's no quarterback who could resolve what's happening.
All right, Goff or Big Ben next season.
Who has a better season?
Goff has a better season. Goff will have a better season.
If you're talking about long term, obviously take Jared Goff. But I mean, next season.
No, Goff will have a better season. Just look at the weapons. He's gonna have Cup back next season. He's gonna have Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp.
Take away the weapons and just from quarterback to quarterback, which one do you take?
So not taking into consideration stats or anything. So just the quarterback.
Just ability.
Yeah,
Who makes the big time plays?
Big Ben makes some big time plays.
But you saw Goff last
Goff
game.
has made some big time plays.
You're gonna have to see what Goff does this Super Bowl, and then see throughout the next couple games going into next year how he
that
does.
one wide receiver in the Rams that got injured.
Cooper Kupp.
Okay,
Cooper Kupp.
Deshaun Watson.
Cooper Kupp, it was a wrap.
Deshaun Watson or Jared Goff?
Huh?
Just Deshaun Watson or Jared Goff?
Who, like, just for, if I had a franchise, who would I take?
Yeah.
I think I'd take Deshaun.
I'd take Deshaun Watson.
I think
You
I'd
would?
take Deshaun.
Uh-huh.
He just has more of that playmaking ability.
Are we
But
talking
Goff was fourth in yards this year. Like he was a solid QB. His weakness was completion percentage.
I mean, but all at the same time.
He does have weapons though.
He has the O-line.
He has the
He
O-line.
has everything you could ever want.
He has the O-line. He has a good run game, so they stack the box, and then he's got Brandon Cooks.
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp.
All right.
Robert
So
Woods.
who do you? If you guys don't think
Higby, too.
Goff will
Saucy.
so do you think he'll be an
Everett.
elite quarterback then in the
Reynolds.
NFL?
Say it.
Do you think he'll be an elite quarterback in the NFL?
I think if he stays with this team, he will be.
No, I can't judge him off 1 year.
So who would you compare him to then in the future? Who do you see?
I see him as like a Phillip Rivers.
A Phillip Rivers.
Like
So
he's quiet, but he's like
a good
consistently
QB,
very good.
but
Not like the big,
top level.
not like a Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
You know who I think is the most underrated quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah.
Andrew Luck. And you have to.
I don't know if
like,
he's underrated,
He's
though.
bad. Like after this season,
People no.
the
He's
Colts
saucy.
team went from being 1-5 to the playoffs. He won a playoff game too, and he hadn't played football in 2 years.
But it's not because of Andrew Luck.
What is it about?
It's because of their O-line.
What kind of wide receivers did he have?
Marlon Mack was the number.
T.Y. Hilton was the only guy on that offense.
From week 6 on, Marlon Mack was the number 4 running back in yards, number 4 in touchdowns. Like,
Damn.
that O-line.
But that's because Andrew Luck could move the ball.
It's because the O-line started playing.
The O-line was playing the whole season.
Obviously, I'm going to respect. Okay, yeah, like, literally, yes, they were playing the whole season. But, like, they weren't making, like, the holes that they were making.
All right.
I'm not trying to take away anything from Andrew Luck because he's saucy, and I agree with that. But I don't know if their whole turnaround was only because of him.
All right. I have one more QB comparison for you. I have Jared Goff. Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins.
Ooh.
Jared Goff.
You take Jared?
Did you see the season Kirk Cousins?
Kirk Cousins had an awful season. Absolutely terrible.
The Vikings, I'd say, arguably,
Biggest flop of the year?
they had such high expectations
They
going
did,
in.
especially after last year, like all the way to the championship.
All right, and one final thing before we move on back to the Super Bowl. Rank these QBs for me. They're all 23 and 24. So we have Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes, and let's throw Deshaun Watson.
We could throw Baker in there.
Yeah, Baker in there, and then I guess
Lamar Jackson.
Trubisky.
And Lamar Jackson.
And Lamar Jackson. All right, rank those guys for me right now.
Patrick Mahomes, number 1, undisputed.
Undisputed.
Number 2.
Don't put Baker.
No, I'm not going to put
Andrew
Baker.
Luck. Is Andrew Luck in that picture?
No,
No.
Luck's 29.
Yeah,
bro. This is why when you're saying Luck's like the next great thing, everyone's like looking around.
Okay, if you think
Bro, just think of how long he was injured for. That's 2 years
Tom
gone.
Brady's like playing for. Like these quarterbacks play until they're what?
35.
Yeah, but Tom Brady
Late
is
30s.
special. All right, let's go back to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady is special because he is so motivated to be great.
At what point do you stop? Like he has everything he could ever want.
Yeah,
when
that's
will
what
he
I'm
stop?
saying.
At what point
That's
does-
what
When
I'm
does he
saying.
stop? Like, he keeps going for
That's
more.
what I'm saying is that
6 rings.
no one
Potential.
else.
I don't think he wants anyone else to touch it.
I don't see another quarterback in this league who will play until they're 40 or like 40, like to the age Brady plays to. Not only because they don't care enough, because they have the money, they have everything they could want, but that kind of desire that Brady has comes from within, and it's like a special desire. He has everything in his life. He feels. I don't know. He has the rings. He has the money. He has. He has fame.
he surpassed Peyton Manning as one of the best of all time.
I was watching a video.
Like a long time ago.
Yeah.
Too. So
I was watching a video yesterday where it was like a little interview type of thing, and he was saying like, I don't want to be called the GOAT like yet, and like he's always talking about like how he still has to do more. Like there's never enough. I think that's what I mean. How old is he now?
He's 41. He reminds me of LeBron in that both of these guys have been at the top of their sport for so long, and yet they still have this drive. And their comparisons I see, the number one is like the shape, the physical shape they stay in. Although we've all seen Brady is not the fastest, not the strongest, he's still in the offseason is working super hard.
Career rushing yards.
He's still been working hard all offseason to like keep his body in physical shape so he doesn't get injured, so he can take the hits. And like with LeBron, obviously, he keeps in peak physical shape. He also looks more in shape than Brady, but...
Well.
Slightly.
Yeah.
But Brady...
Respective to the position.
Brady hasn't had a major injury for a little while now. And he did have they talked about an MCL strain during the season. And he was able to play through that. And it's partially because he understands the game so well now, how to move in the pocket, how to avoid injuries. And then also, he spends a lot of money, a lot of time on taking care of his body.
Well, also, when you look at it, people talk about someone touching about like Tom Brady, and that quarterback's gonna be Patrick Mahomes, and we all know ability-wise he can like when he's in the state he is right now and what Brady was like earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously he's better, but the reason why Brady's been so successful is because of his head too.
Yeah.
So later on down the line, Patrick Mahomes is gonna deteriorate too, right? And he's not gonna have the same physical abilities he can have now, but it's what happens like in your head during these situations and how motivated you could be, how like poised you can be in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just things like that where you just think, like, there's no one else that's going to touch Tom Brady, too, so.
Well, I think what's so special about Brady is you said, his knowledge of the game, his ability to read defenses, all those kind of things. Being around Belichick is special because, like, Belichick has kind of taught him, like, the way to do it, and Brady is totally bought in. And then also, Belichick is a great defensive coach. So by kind of watching Belichick's defense and the way he goes through it, Brady can learn more himself about defenses as well and how to counteract different situations. Yeah. So do we all agree he's the GOAT in football?
100%. I think now he is, yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's not really any
even
argument.
like the biggest Brady haters came out after the last game saying that now he's the GOAT. Yeah. So I think... everyone has to agree that Tom Brady is the best to do it in the NFL. What does this win add to his legacy, though?
In my opinion, nothing.
Which win?
He's already proved everything.
So, but I feel like winning with this team, being back again in the Super Bowl would be kind of a big deal. Because
it's a big deal. What else did he have to
They had bumps along the road this season. Like it wasn't.
They always have bumps in the regular season, though.
But this year was a little different. Like. It wasn't as smooth. People weren't as confident they were going to get through the Chiefs.
I bet money on the Chiefs last game.
You did? How much did you bet? How confident were you?
That was a big
not
big money, big money.
Hey, the podcast is going to be making more than $5 in 2019, so get ready for that. Everyone go subscribe, you know. So, but were you confident that the Patriots were going to make it back to the Super Bowl?
Oh, no. Mm-mm.
Were you?
I thought the Chiefs were gonna.
When the NFL playoffs started, I didn't think the Patriots were gonna get past the Chargers. I thought the Chargers were gonna upset.
Well, I think partially is because Brady is starting to play so well now. He's 71% completion percentage.
He's just a postseason
345
god.
Yards per game in the postseason. It's insane. Like it's really not fair. So I think he's special, and just watch Tom Brady while you can. Next, I have. So how do you think the coaching of McVay and Belichick will affect the game?
I mean, like I said, McVay, he's got that young, risk-taking, trick play,
you can't have
scheming.
more experience in a Super Bowl than Bill Belichick.
Oh, well, I mean, that's...
You don't play for the Patriots to have fun. Like, you play for the
Patriots
to win Super Bowls. So, like, there's a difference between some of these players that go from team to team. Every player that leaves the Patriots says it wasn't the most fun team I was on, but they get the ring at the end of the day too, right? So, I mean...
Okay, I've seen this question on shows before. How much credit would you give Belichick for, like, the winning of the Patriots? Like, if you were to split the credit, obviously there's other players involved. I understand that. But if you were to split the credit between Belichick and Brady, what percentage would you give each person?
I think it's just how they work together.
Yeah.
Like, you can't give one person more credit than the other. I think it's just both of them together. They the combination between the two. Like, they're always on the same page, and like we've seen times where they fight with each other, but they just win.
So, the thing is, though, is some people would say, hey, without Tom Brady, Belichick would not nearly be as good. Like, they would not be in the playoffs every year, even.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then others would argue, without Belichick's defense, Brady would not nearly be able to operate the same way he does. And that with the way the Patriots draft, they draft so well, and they don't necessarily get the marquee players or the players with the big names coming out of the draft, but he's able to mold them to a system, and Brady fits into that system so well. And Belichick's system allows Brady to be who he is.
And I don't even think it's them being good, really good at drafting too. They're so good at developing players into what they want them to be. Was it?
Well, it's all
they drafted Aqib Talib, and Aqib Talib ended up leaving the Patriots, and they had the next lockdown corner the next year. Well, someone we've never even heard of before. So I mean,
I think it's just all Belichick's. Belichick. I keep saying his name weird. It's all his system, man. It's like he has such a culture created in New England that it's almost easier.
I think Brady. One of the players we can look at as how he's kind of been molded into to fit Belichick is Sonny Michel. So he's a rookie, and the first half, the first half of his this season, it wasn't very good. His stats were average for a running back. He wasn't even really getting on the field. I think, and that's when Belichick was molding him, getting him to the system. Second half of the season, exploded, absolute monster. So I think that kind of shows Belichick's his coaching, his development of players to match his system.
However, though, I think the way they plan each other is perfect because then Brady totally embodies that culture. He buys into it every year. He's not slacking off at practice. If you have Big Ben with the Patriots, it would not work because he would want special stuff. He would want too much from the organization where other players... Because if you have the best player on your team be the hardest worker also, everyone looks up to him and they know what the expectation is. Whereas if you had Big Ben slacking, right, everyone else may think, oh, I can slack a little bit too. So I think Brady kind of allows the Patriots to have such a strict culture. And do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I see.
I think that's why he's so special. It's just his work ethic is insane.
Who is it just for getting a feel inside of a locker room? I'm not sure if you watched it, but Hard Knocks kind of allows you to see the different kinds of coaching. This past season, it was Hugh Jackson. Yeah. And you could just see that the players just don't buy into his philosophy.
They didn't really have full respect for his system.
Yeah, and who was it the year before? The Bucks, too?
Yeah, Bucks before.
And then, I'm not sure who was coach at the time, but he recently got fired.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
So, you just look at those locker rooms, and each time I watch it, you see these guys just having a lot of fun, and they're always in front of the cameras, and they're always having fun. The Patriots are never going to be on Hard Knocks. We're never going to know what they're like.
Yeah.
We're never going to know.
Because it's all winning right now. Yeah. It's just win, win, win.
They want us to know what's going inside that locker room. Because it's all business over there, too. So, these other ones that are, looking for, the money from all these, TV shows and, all this, advertising, this and that. Those aren't the teams that make it every other year. Mm-hmm. So, there's just a difference between every other team and the Patriots.
Facts. So... do you guys think that they'll draft a quarterback in this upcoming draft? Because it was known that Belichick wanted to replace Brady with Garoppolo this season.
Garoppolo was that guy.
But they wanted to... If it would have been up to Belichick, Brady would have not played this season.
Okay, the interesting thing to see is going to be... So we already know Garoppolo, when he stepped in, they won games. And I remember there was another quarterback, a backup quarterback, that went in, and he won games for them. I'm not sure who it was, but... Belichick is good at putting anyone in a position to be successful.
That's his system right there.
He gets them into the system.
Do we know that applies for a quarterback too? Because we know every team revolves around a quarterback.
Well, I think the thing with Garoppolo is he would have done fine in the regular season. I don't think the Patriots would have had the same postseason success with Garoppolo. Okay. If Garoppolo was quarterback, I don't think they would have beaten the Chiefs last week. I don't think they would have been able to have that final end game, the 2 drives at the end of the game to come back. And then end it off. I don't think he's that guy. That's where Brady is special.
Yeah, that's fair.
But would you guys? Looking at the draft, don't have.
Justin Herbert.
It's not.
He's going back to college.
It's not very.
Justin Herbert next year.
It's not very quarterback filled this year.
You have
This draft isn't very quarterback.
Oklahoma.
Where was Patrick?
No, but they're all going to be taken early. I mean, Dwayne Haskins, he's going early. Kyler Murray's going early.
I mean, I don't think Kyler Murray wouldn't fit the Patriots system.
I mean, he's going early anyways.
Yeah.
He's going to go like top 15 or something.
But if you look at some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, what round did they come in? Where did Tom Brady get drafted from the Patriots?
I think late.
Really late, right?
Like 5th.
So
I think it
where
may
did
have been
Patrick
later.
Mahomes?
Later
Patrick
than
Mahomes
that.
was like second, third round.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, they're able to have these players where they can like pick them out. Like, I mean, they don't have to get their quarterback from a first round pick. I don't think.
I think the most important thing is when you're drafting a quarterback is looking for the best pocket passer because running the football does not translate well in the NFL. Like if you get the most,
That's
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar
Jackson was pretty good.
but he's
Marcus
not gonna.
Mariota at the
You're not winning
He's a playoff quarterback.
You're never
He's a playoff
winning a
quarterback.
Super Bowl.
He's always in the conversation.
Mariota's not a player.
Mariota is the coach.
Out of Oregon. It's an Oregon thing. Bro, Lamar Jackson is never winning a Super Bowl.
What was the first thing he said when he was drafted? That he's going to bring a Super Bowl to Baltimore.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know.
No, he's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. Like they can be a playoff contender.
No, I think he just needs that experience.
We were talking about the Baltimore Ravens when they had Joe Flacco.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Colin Kaepernick. That's who I think of. Similar player, except Kaepernick was a better passer.
He reminds me of Michael Vick.
The running. He's going to have trouble staying healthy.
Yeah.
The amount of hits he was taking during the regular season and in the playoffs.
I think the only way he has is if he gets no injuries, he can take them back to the playoffs next year. Probably, maybe back to the playoffs the year after that. He needs that playoff experience.
But we all know Joe Flacco is leaving the Ravens next year too. Yeah. I think they need another quarterback to fit right in next to Lamar Jackson because there's going to be some times where he's not going to be effective, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, but you look at the game against the Chargers, and that's where we thought, like, Lamar Jackson, like, it's already done. I mean,
it was crazy.
The first half, it was
crazy because the fans were actually starting to boo him off the field.
Were they?
When they started,
yeah,
they were chanting. I remember hearing that, like, they were saying the fans were yelling, like, get him off. Like, we want Flacco, we want Flacco. And then he started to play well again.
And then it was, like, the second half.
I think he does have a future. I just think he won't be... If you win a Super Bowl with him, you would have to be stacked around him.
Yeah.
And he just needs to... I'd need to see him improve as a passer before you can even think about winning a Super Bowl with him.
He was passing the ball this year. Like, people were thinking all he was doing was running the ball. He was actually an effective passer this year.
Yeah, but he can't complete... Like, his completion percentage isn't very good.
He's definitely not going to be in the pocket all the time. But
yeah, he rolls out. He
got the job done, is all I'm saying. So,
I mean, you can't argue with wins.
I'd say his first season was a success for sure.
Oh, yeah, I would agree with that. He definitely earned the spot as their number one QB for the next season and as someone to look out for going in the future.
Jimmy G next season, too.
Jimmy G next season. With McKinnon, AB, potentially.
All right, so there's two more things I want to do before we wrap it up. So, first off, let's just go through the scorelines one more time. And then say kind of like give me some rough stat line for some of the players for Brady and Goff.
All right, so I'm gonna go 31-28 this time. Give the Rams like a couple more. Make it like a kind of an even score that makes sense.
All right. So what do you see Brady doing?
I see.
So mad he switched up.
I know it would have been we could have argued more with him. we could have started.
Bro, I didn't switch up though. I said I fancy the Rams.
He said he fancied the Rams in terms of he would rather have them win.
And I'm saying if there's one team that can upset the Patriots, it's the Rams. But at the end of the day, it's Tom Brady.
Man, we're about to look so stupid if the Rams lose because all of us said the Patriots would.
Hey, but at least I said there's a possibility of those Rams.
All right.
Okay, so Tom Brady's stat line.
Everyone's giving him a chance to win. No one is saying that the Patriots are going to blow out the Rams.
Oh, no.
But I think there's a possibility that the Rams blow out the Patriots. If it's one way or the other.
Would losing the Super Bowl kind of put a stain on Tom Brady's legacy?
No, because he's already lost plenty of Super Bowls.
But he would be 5-3 now.
Okay, but the fact that he has 5 Super Bowls, and he's talking about putting it on another hand.
Yeah.
No one's ever said that. The Niners always talk
That
about
is crazy.
their quest for 6 because they've won 5 Super Bowls. Tom Brady has as many.
That's crazy.
Yeah, those
the
are
Niners
crazy.
are thought of
Those
as
things
one
are
of the
crazy.
most historic franchises in the NFL, and Tom Brady has won the same amount of Super Bowls as them.
And now they suck. What?
They will be good. They will be good.
Tom Brady's stat line: 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick.
A pick.
Yeah, he's throwing.
All
A
right.
pick. He's throwing a pick early.
All right. What about Goff?
Goff, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Oh.
It's gonna be a run-heavy game from the Rams.
Yeah, that's
I think.
facts.
I think it's gonna be.
It's gonna be a run-heavy
I think
game from both
CJ
teams.
plus Todd is gonna go over 200 yards.
All right. I
I think it does.
got the same scoreline, 23-17. You ripped off my scoreline, yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, I told them before. All right, here's what I got. I got 350 plus yards from Brady.
Holy shit.
Bro, last
That is not
time
happening.
500 yards, bro. Last year, 500 yards from Brady.
Against the Falcons. Falcons are straight.
No, against the Eagles. He had 500 yards.
Yeah, even.
Eagles were a good defense. Eagles were a good defense.
So I got 350 plus yards. I got 2 tuds, 2 TDs, yeah. And then maybe I'll just throw in an interception.
But he's throwing a
'cause
pick. He's
it
throwing
happens.
at least 1
It
pick. He's
happens.
throwing 1 pick.
And then with Jared Goff, I'll give him 200 yards, an interception, and a touchdown.
More
So
than one.
I'll be a little nicer than you. I think he'll do all right. Todd Gurley's, I don't know, man. It depends on what the Patriots bring. He could go for 100 plus, or he could be held. So
What about CJ? CJ go for 100 plus too.
CJ's going to have a bigger game than Tom Brady.
all right, give
CJ.
me your prediction.
CJ.
Or CJ?
No, for the whole game.
For everything.
For the score and
Tom
then
I
Brady
think
and
he
Goff.
goes 300 yards. I think he throws 2 touchdowns. No, you know what? I think he throws a touchdown because Sonny Michel and Rex Burkhead they're going to be so important in the goal line. And I don't think that he's not going to give it to Brady in those situations because they pound the ball in the red zone. So, I mean, I think Tom Brady, he'll have 1 touchdown.
I'm giving him 2. No, I said 3.
You
I'm
said
giving
3
him
for Brady?
No, he said 2 earlier.
No, you said 2.
Did I say 2?
Yeah.
I'm giving him more than 1 either way because I think there's going to be one of those late drives where it's like,
Yeah,
all
he's going to
Brady.
get one early and he's going to get a late drive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think he throws a touchdown, 300 plus yards. I think Goff throws 200 yards. I agree with you. I think he throws 2 picks. I think he's
picks.
going to struggle in this game. And then I think
no
the player to watch.
No tuds.
Again, I've already said it. No, tuds. I think he'll throw a touchdown. I think he'll throw 1. But James White, I think he'll have 100 plus yards receiving.
Scrimmage yards or receiving?
Are you sure James?
Receiving yards.
Did James White go to Oregon?
No, he's not.
Is that why you like him so much?
Yeah,
Is there
fantasy.
an Oregon player in the Super Bowl? What do you think? Is Patrick Chung still on the Patriots?
I think so.
Shit, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
And then I guess there's one other non-Super Bowl related topic I just wanted to talk about because we started to get into it earlier.
Fantasy?
Let's talk the Steelers.
Ours.
What do you think they should do with that whole mess of a situation? Should you trade the Antonio Brown?
Well, I think
What
AB
should they
and
do?
Bell are leaving either way. I don't think there's much
They
the
can't keep
Steelers.
him.
I don't think there's anything the Steelers can do.
Juju's
In a good
cool.
position.
James
to
Conner.
replace
James
Antonio.
Conner in a very good position to replace Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
They don't really have problems
What
there.
about Mike Tomlin?
I think he should stay for 1 more season.
Yeah, I
if
think
he
they
has
should
one
give him
more
one more.
season, because in
At
that
least.
kind of locker room and what he was dealing with last season, any coach is going to struggle to win football games. And the fact that he was this close to beating the Saints, I think they have to give him a chance.
But
I mean,
Mike Tomlin's an enabler. He allows this kind of stuff to happen.
is he though? Like, I mean, he was doing that because of their production. Like, I mean, if you have Le'Veon Bell, you have Antonio Brown. Those are not players you give away.
I've seen stuff with interviews with James Harrison talking about the difference between Belichick and Mike Tomlin in terms of.
There's a difference between Belichick and every other.
Well,
coach.
yeah,
That's
I
correct.
understand that, but what I'm saying is that Mike Tomlin, it kind of allows a player-friendly locker room in terms of he lets the players get away with stuff that he necessarily shouldn't have. It's like he gives the players like a lot of freedom and then tries to hold them back. And once you've given them all that freedom, they're gonna take it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of his fault for some. I'm not saying the whole situation. The Le'Veon situation was a mess. Like that sucks. But they had people step up. They had good enough players to make. They should have made the playoffs. That was bad. They really should have made the playoffs. You had Juju and
That's
AB.
the only reason we're not talking. We're talking.
I think the mindset they had in the. You heard about the last game, right? The last game of the season was a make or break game. Antonio Brown was there, just left at halftime. Like he left the stadium at halftime. Like just imagine how that makes all the other players.
Should have been that mink coat.
Yeah.
Not even the Steelers coat.
Yeah, like.
I don't know.
Toxic.
He's like.
I don't think the Steelers are thinking twice about Antonio Brown.
Where do you think where do you think AB will end up?
For what do you think?
The Niners.
Where?
No, okay, you're gonna talk about that. You know how much he's talked about going to the Niners.
So you're just talking about how toxic he is, and now you want him to be on the Niners?
No, toxic in the Steelers, like in that situation.
Uh-huh.
Him and Ben were clashing.
In that situation.
They both wanted to be, and then obviously
the 49ers locker room does not have any toxic players in it. If you think of it, there's not been one problem in that locker room.
What do you think about Marquise Goodwin? I consider myself the AB of the 49ers.
I think that any wide receiver in the organization should be saying that if you don't have a player like Antonio Brown in your locker room.
You shouldn't be saying that if you're like 3 and what? What was their record at the end of the season?
Okay, I mean he didn't. Who did he have throwing to? Nick Mullins.
Mullins.
I mean
the GOAT.
What kind of offensive line did they have this year?
They beat the Raiders this year, right?
The thing is, okay, the Niners went in with the expectations to challenge with the Rams this season. And obviously that went to dirt after
After McKinnon got injured.
Well, McKinnon didn't. In the summer, even in like OTAs.
Yeah, the moment McKinnon got injured, I was like, all right,
Jimmy G.
There it goes.
Against the Chiefs, week 4, he had already won a game, and he was in that game against the Chiefs was somewhat close too. So I mean, you could talk about how the 49ers could have challenged this year, and with the injuries they had, it makes sense why they had this record.
So you think that?
But if they get Antonio Brown, there's talk about OBJ. If we don't get Antonio Brown, we're gonna get a big player. If they number 2 pick in the NFL draft.
If they get a big receiver, they have potentially the best offense.
Because if you think we're getting either Nick Bosa or Josh Allen from Kentucky or Ohio State, and if the last thing we need on that defense is pass rush, the 49ers could be challenging the Rams.
Big DeForest.
So you think
DeForest Buckner.
You think the Niners could be challenging for the Super Bowl next season?
I agree.
You think so?
I already have money on them doing it. More than $5, let me tell you.
How much you got on it this time, huh?
50s.
50?
50s. Big bucks.
Damn.
I
don't know about that.
I said in the next 3 years the Niners will win the Super Bowl.
There's no way you go from a fat losing record to the Super Bowl.
No,
okay, you want to roast the 49ers? Talk about the Raiders right now.
I'm not.
Let's get it. Niners versus Raiders. Just go at it, bro.
The Raiders are going to have at most 5 wins next year. You're saying the Niners are going to the Super Bowl.
I said they're challenging the Rams. I said in the next 3 years I think they can go to the Super Bowl. You don't think if they get Antonio Brown.
Let Garoppolo prove himself a little more.
Okay.
Those 5 games that he won at the end of the season
and the ones that he did with the Patriots.
So that's like
he's not on the Patriots anymore.
In his first, okay.
How many games has he played in his entire NFL career?
He hasn't played a full season.
So you said you can't judge Goff off one season? So how can you judge Garoppolo off one season?
Biased.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
All right, Gruden. Give me your thoughts on Gruden, and we're gonna wrap up the segment.
Let me ask one question. Would you rather have Derek Carr right now or Jimmy Garoppolo?
Garoppolo.
Right now he has a torn ACL. It's probably not. Yeah, Jimmy G. Jimmy G.
All right. What about Gruden? Give me a Gruden rant or something, and then we'll.
I don't really know what the fuck he's doing, bro.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack.
We're gonna put that out, right?
No.
Khalil Mack, bro.
Yeah, I don't. The Raiders are.
Okay.
The Raiders situation is way worse.
No, it's interesting though. Like
3 first-round picks.
Trade away Amari Cooper. I think that was the right decision to trade away Amari Cooper.
He was great for the Cowboys.
He was terrible for the Raiders.
Yeah.
He was terrible for the Raiders. So I mean, he was dropping passes left and right. All of a sudden, he goes to the Cowboys and he's
like a good receiver. Yeah.
But I mean, Khalil Mack. It's a head scratcher to think of it like. They just got a new GM, so it's going to be interesting.
3 first-round picks.
With their 3 first-round picks.
3 first-round picks. So, I mean, that's a big thing for me.
But how long will Gruden have?
Like young
his
players.
First-round picks are going to have to perform right away.
Not necessarily. I think he could get one more season after.
It was
after
a disaster what they had in Oakland last season.
Gruden,
dude. I mean, think of the team that they were putting out there.
Gruden just hasn't.
The top receiver was Jordy Nelson.
He hasn't been in the NFL for so long. Like he's been doing his television stuff, whatever. His QB can't. That's not the same. The game's changed so much. It's just like with soccer.
It has changed.
The game evolves so much over a decade. The game evolves. It changes vastly. So He can't.
Like, it was right in front of him every single day. He was announcing every other game. Like it was in front of him, and he could see the different players that are filled.
I don't know. I think he's gonna get fired within the next year or two, and then that's it for his coaching career.
Do you think they should have kept Del Rio? Was it?
He didn't really look like he was gonna make a change. It was kind of all the same. Did he need a change
in that moment though?
I think I would have actually liked to seen Del Rio stay and him trade Amari Cooper.
If Del Rio was still there, you guys would still have Khalil Mack, and you guys would still have Amari Cooper, I think.
Yeah, I'm saying I think I would have wanted to see Amari Cooper go, get 2 first-round picks, and see what Del Rio does with that.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I mean, Gruden, he just took a massive risk.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
We'll see
if it pays off.
I'll have you guys back on for another Raiders versus Niners podcast. That'd be kind of fun.
I mean, there's nothing for me to say right now.
But we'll do it next season, at the beginning of next season. All right. Well, I think that's a good place to end it. We all got the Patriots winning the Super Bowl.
With the potential of the Rams.
Yeah. But hey,
pick both sides. Cheating. You pick one.
Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Go follow me on Instagram at the Fergie Time Podcast.
Good one.
At the Fergie Time Podcast. And DM me on Instagram to talk about like whatever you want to do, sports, music, anything you want to do. DM me. I love to interview people. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you very much,
Their stuff
sir.
will be in the description, so go give them a follow on Instagram. Keep it lit, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.